I'm Alexandra Mills, writing a script, but it's sort of different, and I'm kind of nervous. It's a new creation story that it's for anybody, any religion, any race, any male, female. It's for everyone. So I think we needed an updated creation story.
What is the no clone zone?
That means everything that comes from me is 100% authentic. Very just creative in my own little world.
I saw you also did like the paranormal investigations.
Yeah, I'm also a mystic. I attract mystical like experiences. I have that's a whole nother like story. But I have experienced a lot of things that other people just don't get to see, So I'm very open-minded to a lot of things.
As for the spirits, I've actually have videos where I talk about my encounters. For the most part, always good. Even if they're scary, they usually try to tell you something.
You're right, exactly. On my profile also says that the paranormal is it's not far from you. How can you be scared of something that's always there?
Sometimes we just don't know. I mean, one of the ones that really opened up my eyes is the broom slammed down in the kitchen, and I went in there, and it was in the middle of the room, and I got lit up, so I knew somebody was there. But you can't really communicate, and so I started getting a little frustrated. Even put a penny on there, said knock that over. It knocked it over. What happened was I had the lights on in the kitchen, and after a while, I heard this truck start up in the dead end and pull away. So I really believe whatever that was having me turn the lights on to protect me. So it actually turned out to be a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So,
it scared you because you didn't know
but it
what was going
scared me.
on.
Yeah.
The heat kept coming on, like the heater, the thermostat kept actually being physically turned on. And it's summertime, and I'm like, why is the heat? And I asked my friend, like, did you turn the heat on? And it happened like 2 or 3 times in a row. And then at that point, I was like, I know he didn't get up and touch it, so I knew something was turning it on. And I was like, wow. I actually ran out of the house at that time, but that was my first experience. Though I
Yeah.
brought somebody over to the house after that. That was like a very spiritual person, and she come in and she was like, wow, she felt good with energy. She felt really good, and it was kind of strange. But then I've had a lot of experiences after that. Like I've heard like knocking on the walls. I'm upstairs and I can hear like I'm thinking that my friends are coming home, and so I'm hearing like all the bags. Like went to the grocery store and I'm hearing bags rattling, them talking, and I'm thinking that they're home. I go down there, there's no one there. That was weird. Usually, I'm not alone when I have these experiences. I have witnesses that I'm a mystic. That was a long time ago. So I realized that I communicate with spirits. They're always communicating with me. Can't take all the credit. I have to give credit to my ancestors and to the spirit that I'm channeling. I like being who I am. It's exciting. It's interesting.
Being in tuned is a good thing. I always felt like I was. One experience really flipped me out because I came home from work and I saw my youngest stepson in front of the TV. And I kind of kept telling him, "You're gonna mess your eyes up, get away from the TV." And then the older son came out and said, "Who are you talking to?" Because he wasn't there. He went with my my wife. And I was like, wait a minute. I just was sitting there talking to him, and I didn't even believe him until I
Uh-huh.
went and saw my my son at somewhere else.
And I'm
I
like,
was literally talking to somebody that wasn't there.
that's crazy. That's a trip. That's
Yeah.
probably not a good spirit,
No,
if they're
actually,
imitating, pretending.
we're all pretty sure it's a boy that's been there for a long time because actually every single one of
Oh,
have seen him. And even the kids, as they got older, said that, they would see him running back and forth, but they didn't say nothing until they got older. It's one of them ones where you can't turn and look. You're afraid to look.
how did you know? You felt it, or you
Oh
saw
no, I
something,
felt
or
it. I felt it, but I was too scared to look. So I was like, that's it. I'm going home because I was at my parents and I went out, walked around the house. It was like 3 in the morning and it followed me. It got in the truck with me. It went home with me. And I'm like, I'm
oh,
I'm driving all the way home, but I wouldn't look at the passenger seat because I knew I could feel it. I was all lit up and I was like,
and
so
that was it for that.
it didn't cross that line, you
It's a
know.
good thing you didn't like look at it or like trip on it, because that makes them attached to you.
I'm always trying to see them, but that one just like kind of scared me. And I was really in tune like you. And then when we were living at this one house, it just seemed like there was just so many. I mean, like I would be in the basement and there's so many, and I was like, I could feel it. I couldn't concentrate, and I was like, y'all just need to leave me alone. And then for like 2 years, I didn't get nothing. It's like they listened,
Um,
and I couldn't get it back.
could have been your own spirit guides, too.
I feel like I'm a little charmed, like somebody, watches out over me. But then
That fairy blood.
that makes you wonder about the people that have like the really bad luck. Like, are the spirits not doing their job? You know,
Right, exactly.
what is your goals for your books and stuff like that?
Bring us like because we're in a new age now, and every age everything is drastically different, like everything changes like drastically. So we're going through the transition right now of things changing, and we could tell everything is different. It's going to be different. We're in the age of Aquarius, so that means like Aquarius represents like humanitarianism, brotherhood, being like looking out for each other. Each age is 2,000 years. The age of Leo was the age of creation when everything was created. So, but basically, what I understood is that we're supposed to have like all the lines of segregation, separation, prejudice, all that's supposed to be erased, right? This for the next 2,000 years. We're supposed to all be equal. Everyone's supposed to be equal.
Well, I don't see, I mean, to be honest, it seems like it's worse than it's ever been. So unless it's one of them things to where it's got to go bad first to go better,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. It's all dark before the dawn.
because it
Yep.
looks like it's going one way.
Because you know why? What's going to happen is that you have to adapt. You have to go with it. You have to like, you can't resist it. If you're not going to be, treat people fairly and open yourself up to being equal to every, not being prejudiced and all that. And no matter what anybody tries to do, they cannot stop this. It's already happening, and that's why it seems like it's really bad because people who don't want to adapt are not going to be around. But I'm writing a script. Yeah. And actually, one part of it is about creation because it's actually two parts to it. The name of it is One Flesh. I have found in original stories in the Bible of Jesus, I found another story hidden within that story of all the stories of Jesus. There's another story that is personal and very intimate details of his life. And it's exactly goes along with what's already written. So, and it also says like whatever you build, you have to build on the foundation that has already been established. And so I feel like this is my calling, is my purpose is to present this another perspective. It's very controversial and it's going to
So,
cause a frenzy.
so where do you go? Because, like I said, we're all creating stuff and we're trying to get it out there. If you like veer from the other ways that the religions are, where do you shop your script out to try to?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. I know that like for like say Dan Brown's Holy Grail, I think it was Columbia, and they're actually owned by Sony. I have to let it come to me, and I'm just going to be patient with taking a while anyway to get it finished. It's very, very going to be very controversial, but you won't be able to. I mean, it's one of those stories that you won't be able to like stop watching. Like you're going to be, and it's not a sad story. It's a victorious. It ends in victory. The effect that it's going to have on people is when you walk in, when you walk out, you're going to be a different person. The last 2,000 years, all your questions will be answered. You'll be satisfied with what you see.
Yeah.
It's definitely, Jesus is definitely going to be part of the new age. He's not going to be left out. And definitely, he's going to be a major part. He's not going anywhere. Matter of fact, people are going to be able to refresh their beliefs in Jesus after this. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful story. I haven't ever written a script before, but in all the research that I've done on writing scripts, if it checks all the boxes.
I'm a big believer in, the best experience is actually doing. I basically taught myself. It's trial and error. You do it and you learn from as you go. You got to make it personal. You got to make it, your own version and stuff like that. To be true to
Yeah,
yourself.
and I can't I have to be part of it. I'm probably going to be there right next to the director because like it has to be done a certain way. The integrity has to be there, because this is about spiritual things. So yeah, it's not a religious movie by any means. It's not religious. It's a look at the man, the human being. It's not sad or anything. It's very exciting. It's very happy, very positive. You know what I mean? Like exactly how I write. You can't really change it because, as a matter of fact, it's already written in the Bible, and I'm just giving you another way of looking at it. That's all. But I know what you mean. That yeah, I have to collaborate. You have to cooperate with other people. Let other people have their input.
Unless you're going to take charge and do it, that's
Right.
what I was asking you. Would you ever consider directing? Because that is the only way you are actually going to get the vision that you want. Otherwise, it is a give and take.
Kind of where Dan Brown left off, that's where I'm picking up. If you ever seen the Holy Grail. So
Well,
could you imagine taking he left off? That's some controversial, interesting thing. But it's already written. So I can't really take credit for that. I just see a whole nother story in it.
everything's about belief. From the moment you wake up to, you go to sleep. It's, am I doing the right thing? Am I going the right path? All of it also counts on us actually doing something.
Like, did you know how the reason why we color Easter eggs at Easter time?
No.
How where that tradition started? That tradition started because after Jesus died, she was holding an egg. You know, she's known to have this egg for some reason. So he goes, that Jesus didn't raise from the dead no more than that egg turning red in your hand, and that egg turned red in his hand, in her hand, and that's where we get the tradition of coloring Easter eggs. It's from Mary Magdalene. People that don't believe in miracles and magic and all that, like, you know, have they're missing out a lot.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think it's their fault. I think we're like kind of trained to believe in certain things and they're not
Yeah.
open. The one thing that really kind of opened up my eyes when I got my son, because I got stepkids, and they came from a Catholic thing. So they come to, hey, you're supposed to do this and that, and they started a Catholic school. And the boy came out, and as he was leaving his friends, he was hugging them. They weren't used to that. Fast forward a couple of days, he comes out and leaving school. Now everybody's hugging each other. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
they were taught a certain thing. Well, he was taught a certain thing, and then he just went about his day, and then they all kind of joined in. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing, but we're actually taught a lot of stuff in history that we probably either to him make us not know or not want to know. I don't think it's people's faults that they're not open to new ideas. We're
Right.
just trained
And they're
not.
not even, they don't even know to search for like anything either. They just don't even know better. But I'm like, I'm the opposite. I was always curious, like ever since I was a little child. I mean, matter of fact, my mom said I was born with my eyes wide open and I was talking and I was very sociable and everybody was like, wow, look at that baby holding her head up and everything when I was a newborn. But and I've always been very like curious about everything. So I did start searching for myself, exploring different, you know, different things and doing research and make follow my intuition and connecting things.
Is it already done?
It's done enough, like to the point where like I have my rough draft, you know. It was called Her Only Begotten Daughter before. Now it's just one flesh.
Whatever your passion and beliefs are, because we change as the years go on. So, you have to be true to whatever you are now. And that's a
Hmm.
lot of people don't want to change. And if you talk to my ex, she says I never change. But but I do. I do because like I even go back and look at my old movies and I edit them because I'm a different person than I was back then.
Right.
So I'm looking at it through totally different eyes. And, it seems like that's the same way you were. You started writing it, but now you're a different person and you're seeing it from a different point of view.
Well, once you get enlightened, I don't think like you go back.
But isn't everything supposed to be like yin and yang, good and bad? Can we really have good without bad? Okay, if you got the evil, but isn't the other side the angels? Like the extreme bad, evil, the extreme good, angels. Isn't that still a balance?
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like even like somebody that has hurt people, somebody that's evil or has done evil things, they can still be forgiven. Hurt people, you know? Like, bad can turn good, you know what I mean? It can anytime it wants. It just makes it's a choice that you have to make. But you know, like worship me. He was saying, follow your own heart, like I follow my heart. That's what Jesus was saying. He wasn't saying believe in my God. He was saying believe what's inside of you, like I believe what's inside of me.
The whole free choice is that everybody can be bad and everybody can be good. It's basically up to everybody. You can be a bad person if you want, and you can be a good person if you want.
You know, it's work. It's an ongoing thing because you're going to be tested every day. You're going to continue to be tested, and the more like closer that you come to it, then you're going to have the warfare against you. You know, it's an ongoing thing. But
The one thing I do believe strongly in is that we each are judged on our own past. Like I
all
wouldn't be
right,
judged by somebody else that went through other stuff. I'm judged by what I do and what life I go through. What's your plans for your
yeah. But I have
story?
like a lot of connections on LinkedIn right now. They're all in the entertainment business. So maybe somebody will refer me to somebody else or join a couple of those contests.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. All
Bye
right,
bye.
have a good night.